To the men and women of the Clay County Sheriff's Office and all the citizens of Clay County, I just want to take this opportunity just to give an update on something that we've been doing here in the Sheriff's Office. We most recently rolled out something that I thought was highly critical for the success of the Clay County Sheriff's Office, and that was the new mission statement, core values, and vision statement for this agency under this administration. And one of the first things that I discussed with every employee of the Sheriff's Office is the why, our agency why statement. And some of you say, you know, what is that? What is an agency why statement? It's why we do what we do, regardless of discipline, whether you're a civilian, whether you're in detention, in the jail, whether you're a sworn person, a detective, or someone out in patrol. We all come to work for a reason. And you citizens of Clay County, you have certain expectations of us when we come to work. You expect selfless service. And with that in mind, in this profession of service and around this profession of service, I thought that it would be ideal to have our why statement clearly illustrated for every agency member to see. So selfless service for all is our agency why statement. You know, in a lot of professions, we get caught up in personal things. Life comes at us, but when it comes to our jobs, you know, we tend to focus on self and putting food on the table and providing for our families, and we live our lives in a silo and we just go to work. But in the profession of law enforcement and around law enforcement, a service-oriented and honorable profession, there's a different twist to that. It's selflessness. And I believe that society expects law enforcement not to be selfish, but to be selfless. So to say that selfless service for all is the mantra of the Clay County Sheriff's Office, the why we do what we do, I think is beneficial that, one, every man and woman who's employed by the Clay County Sheriff's Office understands that and knows it inside and out, and it resonates within them to be selfless in their service to the community of Clay County. And that everyone who lives in Clay County understand that we, as members of the Clay County Sheriff's Office, understand the expectations of society on us. As with every agency in law enforcement and most businesses in society, we have to have a vision statement, a mission statement, and core values. The next thing that I'll cover is the mission statement of the Clay County Sheriff's Office. It's pretty simply written, and it's something that I wanted to make sure that every employee of the agency could remember. Some mission statements for other law enforcement agencies are long dissertations, long paragraphs that the members who protect and serve, they can't even remember. But the mission statement of the Clay County Sheriff's Office under this administration is very simply written, and for society, you'll understand why. First, reduce crime, reduce fear of crime, and improve the quality of life. Now, everyone can wrap their minds around the reduction of crime, to reduce crime. That's traditional law enforcement and even some non-traditional methods to rid our county and our communities and our neighborhoods of crime. It's pretty simple. But reduce the fear of crime is a little bit different. That's what goes on in the brain. Most of us, and when I say most of us, I'm talking about the men and women of the Clay County Sheriff's Office, regardless of discipline, and the folks who live in and around Clay County have a fear of crime. And you say, there's no way I have a fear of crime. Of course you do. If you're a person who locks your doors at night, make sure that the windows are closed and locked. If you make sure your vehicle is locked and that all your valuables are removed from the vehicle before you do that. If you set an alarm system, if you have a firearm that you use to protect your family with, or if you do anything to keep your home and your business and those you love safeguarded from criminals, then you have a fear of crime. Now, the Clay County Sheriff's Office, we want to do all we can to reduce that fear of crime. So what do? We reach out to the community, we partner with the community, we do simple things to help the community quell their concerns about the fear of crime. And those things are pretty easy to pull off. And that is to, one, establish a partnership, a clear partnership with members of society and the Clay County Sheriff's Office. Well, how do we do that? We do neighborhood walks, and we go out to these different neighborhoods in Clay County, and we meet face to face with the members of society, and we hear their concerns, and we actually take them to heart and do something about them. We also go to businesses. We have a program we call Walk-In Wednesdays, where the men and women who serve in the patrol division, they go to a different business, a business that they haven't gone into, and they introduce themselves to the folks who are employed in that business, and they talk to them about their concerns, and is there anything that we can do from the Clay County Sheriff's Office end to make their businesses better. So we do those things to reduce the fear of crime. You know, we go out and we talk to children, we go and we talk to high school kids and junior high school kids, and we interact a lot with the community. And we don't just do those things so we can be warm and fuzzy, but we do those things so we can have reoccurring positive interactions with the community that we're sworn to serve. And in doing so, we reduce the fear of crime. And lastly, a part of that mission statement, so we've talked about reducing crime, reducing the fear of crime, but then there's to improve the quality of life. To improve the quality of life as a mission statement is based on this one thing. In Clay County, we enjoy a pretty good quality of life. And one of the things as the sheriff that I don't want to happen, I don't want criminals or anyone who thinks that they're going to come do something in Clay County that would diminish our quality of life. I don't want them to think that this is a target-rich environment where they can pull that off. In fact, I won't give up 1 inch, 1 foot, 1 yard, 1 block, 1 neighborhood, 1 community, not 1 area of town in Clay County to the criminal element. I enjoy the quality of life that we have here in Clay County, and I want to make sure, by God's help, that we keep it that way. Another element of the rollout for this agency is our core values. Now, in a lot of agencies, they have one-liners, one-word descriptors that speak to the core values of the agency. And those things aren't bad characteristics to have as an employee or as an agency. Things like integrity, honesty, courage, commitment, honor. The list goes on and on of these different characteristics that are good to have in law enforcement or around law enforcement, both as an agency value or as an individual. But we in the Clay County Sheriff's Office, we took it a step further. We dug down a little bit deeper, more than just one-liners. In law enforcement, we've identified that the most precious thing that we safeguard is human life. And so as a core value, our #1 core value in the Clay County Sheriff's Office is sanctity of life. That's the most important thing that we can protect in this life that we live. It's human life. And so as a core value, we're placing that at the highest levels so that it continues to be at the forefront of our mind as we do our jobs, that our value systems revolve around the fact that human life is the most important thing that we can help to preserve in this career and in this life. Secondly, courage to do the right thing. People think that that's an easy thing. Some people might call that integrity, but to do the right thing sometimes places an individual at odds with their peers, with members of society, and sometimes even elected officials. It's pretty simple to think about conceptually, but to pull off doing the right thing and having the courage to do the right thing is something that I challenged every employee of the Sheriff's Office to possess, and that is to do the right thing. Sometimes we find ourselves in a position where we have a decision to make, and sometimes the easy decision to make is to do the right thing. But sometimes we're backed into a corner and it's easier to do something other than the right thing. And when we are faced with those types of decisions in the Sheriff's Office, I've encouraged and placed as the second core value the importance of having the courage to do the right thing. And our last core value is strive for continuous improvement. And why do we do that? We as an agency and we as individuals should always be in a posture where we're trying to improve upon the successes of this agency and building on any failures and understanding that failures are part of the growth process, but we don't want to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. In law enforcement, we've done this work a certain way 50 years ago or 100 years ago. That's not the way that we conduct law enforcement today. 50 years from now and 100 years from now, societal norms will be different. And law enforcement, in the face of law enforcement, will be different. But right now, the face of law enforcement exists the way it does. And we are looking at every single process that we have in the Sheriff's Office, and we ask, why do we do it this way? It's never the right answer to hear or to say, well, this is the way we do things around here, or this is the way we've always done it. Well, that's not a good answer. I believe that in an individual who asks that question, they want someone to illustrate for them, to show them step by step why it makes sense to do business a certain way. And if that doesn't happen, that may be a process that needs to be reevaluated, because we have to continue with the advancements in technology as they move forward. And again, the societal norms as they change. What was acceptable 100 years ago or unacceptable 100 years ago may be acceptable now, and so on and so forth. So we as an agency should always be looking for ways to not only improve ourselves as individual employees so we can serve society, but we should be looking at the processes that we have in law enforcement and around law enforcement to make sure that we're delivering the most efficient and effective law enforcement that we can to keep the members of the Sheriff's Office safe and the folks who live in and around Clay County safe. And the last component to this rollout is our vision statement. And the vision statement is nothing more than we do a certain thing, but what is the outcome that we're looking for? That's what the vision statement is. And so we do what we do. The fruit of our labor is this. This is the future state we see in Clay County. Safe communities and economic growth in partnership with our citizens. Safe communities, we're working on that. Partnership with our citizens, we're working on that every day. But people say, why is it that we're trying to stimulate economic growth? It's for a purpose. If we help businesses do better in Clay County, that means there may be more jobs in Clay County. If there are more jobs in Clay County, people may want to move to Clay County. One, because there are jobs. Two, because it's safe. But to bring all that together, here's the purpose. We partner with them. We keep the community safe. We stimulate economic growth. But why? If people work in Clay County, if people live in Clay County, they may be prone to buy a house in Clay County. If they do buy a house in Clay County, that means they're going to pay real estate tax. If they pay real estate tax, that's ad valorem taxes. To increase the tax base for ad valorem taxes means that the pool of money that we use for our budget is increased. And if we have an increased amount of money to pull from, then we can deliver even more services from the Sheriff's Office that we otherwise might not be able to afford. So that's a win-win. We as a Sheriff's Office keep the community safe. We partner with the community, so we increase jobs, we increase safety, and we increase the financial pool to support our budget. It's a win-win scenario. So these are the things that I've explained to the men and women of the Clay County Sheriff's Office. These are the things that I wanted to explain and express to the folks who live in and around Clay County. And for anyone who's seeking employment, we're always hiring at the Clay County Sheriff's Office. We're always looking for a few good men and a few good women to help us as we fight the fight here in Clay County.